All right, let's dive into one of the most powerful and honestly most misunderstood concepts out there, the shadow self. This is the hidden part of you that, whether you know it or not, is pretty much running the show and shaping your entire life. So, let's get right into just how deep its influence really goes.
This right here gets to the heart of a huge misunderstanding we all have. We love to believe that our conscious mind, the part that sets goals, makes to-do lists, and has all these great intentions, is in the driver's seat. But the reality? It's often the complete opposite. What you actually create in your life, the situations you find yourself in over and over again, that's not coming from what you think you want. It's being driven by the massive, hidden part of you that's lurking below the surface.
So what is this thing? What exactly are we talking about when we say shadow self? Let's get a really clear definition, because honestly, just understanding this is the first crucial step to taking back the controls. Okay, so here it is. The shadow self is basically any part of you that you've pushed away. Just think about that for a second. Any feeling, any impulse, any desire you were taught was bad or wrong or shameful, well, it didn't just disappear. It got stuffed down into the shadow. And this includes the so-called negative stuff like fear and anger for sure. But here's the kicker. It also includes positive things we were told to suppress, like our pleasure, our power, or our wild creativity. It helps to break the shadow down into these four forms, and you'll see how they all kind of flow into one another. It starts with the rejected self. Maybe as a kid you loved to sing, but someone told you that you were terrible. So you judge that part of you as unacceptable. Soon, it becomes the lost self. You literally forget you ever loved singing. To fill that hole, you build a false self. Maybe you become a super serious, logical person who thinks art is frivolous. And finally, the disowned self is where you deny the negative parts of that mask, like the quiet resentment you feel when you see someone else singing their heart out. See how it's all connected? It's a chain reaction.
So if all this stuff is hidden and unconscious, how in the world do we even know it's there? Well, it doesn't stay buried forever. Nope. It has a way of showing up, often when we least expect it, right in the middle of our daily lives. Let's look at the clues it leaves behind.
Usually, the shadow makes itself known in three big ways. First, triggers. Have you ever had a ridiculously strong, over-the-top reaction to someone? Chances are it's because they're acting out a part of you that you've pushed way, way down. Then there are projections. That's when you see your own hidden traits in everyone else. Why is everyone so lazy? Or why is everyone so selfish? And maybe the most painful of all are the repeating patterns, where we keep finding ourselves in the same bad relationships or the same dead-end jobs, and we just can't figure out why. It's the shadow running the same old program.
And this right here shows you exactly how this plays out over a lifetime. Let's take a powerful example. A child has a completely natural desire, but their parents meet it with shame or punishment. By their teenage years, that desire becomes a lost self. It's just gone. As an adult, they build a false self to cover up that emptiness. Maybe a deep-seated belief that they're broken or unlovable. And the result? Now their life is run by triggers and projections related to that original desire, controlling all their relationships and behaviors without them even knowing it.
Okay, I know this can sound a little intense, maybe even a bit depressing, but here is the really, really good news. There is a path forward. And it's not about fighting your shadow or trying to destroy it. It's about something much more powerful: integration. It's all about making the darkness conscious. The legendary psychoanalyst Carl Jung, who really pioneered this whole field, he put it perfectly. He said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Real growth, real wholeness, it doesn't come from pretending the messy parts of us don't exist. It comes from having the courage to turn around and actually look at what's in the dark.
And this leads us to the absolute core principle of this work. What we resist persists. The more you fight a part of yourself, the more you try to push it away, the stronger it gets. It's like you're feeding it with your energy. The only way to truly transform these shadow parts isn't to battle them. It's to meet them with acceptance and eventually, even with love.
So let's be crystal clear about this. The goal here is not to start an internal war. It's not about winning or losing. The goal is to stop fighting and start building a relationship with these lost parts of you. It's about meeting them with awareness, with presence, and with real, loving acceptance. But how do you actually do that?
Well, this isn't just theory. There are practical tools for this. Here's a basic process. First, you identify what you want to change. Then, and this is key, you resource. You find a feeling of safety and groundedness in your body before you dive deep. Then, you gently explore the feelings that are tied to this issue. And here's the most important step. You embody those feelings. You don't judge them, you don't run from them, you meet them with a compassionate presence. It's only from that place of acceptance that you can finally start to create a new reality for yourself.
Now, this work isn't always easy. It can be challenging, for sure, but the payoff is absolutely massive. This is about so much more than just fixing problems. This is about reclaiming the parts of you that hold your greatest energy and your most authentic power.
I mean, just look at these rewards. Imagine liberating all the energy you currently use every single day to keep parts of yourself locked down. That energy suddenly becomes available for joy, for pleasure, for creativity. You gain real freedom of choice instead of being a puppet to your unconscious patterns. You become more whole, more alive, more authentically you. You can even heal painful patterns that have been passed down in your family for generations. This is the shift from just surviving to truly thriving.
So, I'll leave you with this question to really think about. That part of you that you've been taught to deny, the thing you might be most ashamed of or afraid of, what if that isn't your weakness at all? What if that's the exact place where your greatest energy, your deepest aliveness, and your most incredible power has been hiding all along?